For centuries, royal coronations have been among the most powerful ceremonies on earth. Crowds gather in the streets, millions watch on television, flags wave, music echoes through ancient cathedrals, and the world witnesses a historic moment as a crown is placed upon the head of a new monarch. But what the public sees is only part of the story. Behind the magnificent robes, behind the golden crowns, behind the carefully choreographed ceremony, there exists a hidden world of rituals, traditions, and secrets. Moments that happen away from cameras, moments that are witnessed by only a handful of people, moments that have remained hidden for centuries. Coronations are not simply ceremonies. They are ancient rituals filled with symbolism and meaning. Every step, every object, every word spoken during the ceremony carries centuries of history. And many of those traditions remain deliberately mysterious. Some rituals are considered so sacred that they are never fully revealed to the public. Others are known only through historical records and the accounts of those who are allowed inside the ceremony. Because when a monarch is crowned, the moment represents far more than a transfer of power. It represents continuity, tradition, and the survival of a system that has existed for hundreds, sometimes thousands of years. But the most fascinating part of the coronation is not what happens in front of the cameras. It is what happens behind closed doors. The private moments, the hidden preparations, the quiet conversations, the rituals that few outside the royal circle ever witness. These are the secrets that make coronations one of the most mysterious ceremonies in the modern world. And today, we are uncovering some of those hidden stories. The origins of coronation ceremonies. Coronations did not begin as grand spectacles. In fact, early coronations were far simpler. During the early medieval period, kings were often proclaimed by nobles or military leaders. The ceremony could be as simple as placing a crown on the ruler's head or raising them on a shield. But as monarchies grew stronger, coronations became more elaborate. Religious leaders began to play an important role. Kings were no longer seen only as political rulers. They were also viewed as rulers chosen by divine authority. This belief changed coronation ceremonies dramatically. Rituals were added. Sacred oils were used to anoint the monarch. Prayers were spoken. Symbols of power were presented. The ceremony became both political and spiritual. By the time medieval kingdoms reached their peak, coronations had become powerful demonstrations of authority. They reminded the people that the monarch ruled not only by law, but also by tradition and faith. And with each generation, new elements were added to the ceremony. Some traditions were designed to reinforce the monarch's legitimacy. Others symbolized the responsibilities of leadership. But a few rituals became so sacred that they were kept hidden from the public. Those rituals remain among the most fascinating secrets of royal coronations. The secret preparations before the ceremony. Long before the world sees a monarch wearing the crown, an enormous amount of preparation happens quietly behind palace walls. A coronation is not organized in a few weeks. In many cases, planning begins years in advance. Historians, royal advisors, religious leaders, and ceremonial officials meet privately to discuss every detail. Every movement during the ceremony must be planned carefully. Where the monarch will stand, when the crown will be lifted, which music will play, who will speak, and even how long each moment should last. Nothing is left to chance. Because a coronation is not only a ceremony, it is a message to the world. It communicates stability, continuity, and the survival of a tradition that stretches back through centuries. Months before the ceremony, the palace begins secret rehearsals. These rehearsals are rarely discussed publicly. Members of the royal household walk through the ceremony step by step. They practice the processions. They rehearse the placement of objects. They even rehearse the precise moment when the crown is placed on the monarch's head. Every detail must be perfect, because once the ceremony begins, the eyes of the world will be watching. The sacred objects used in coronations. One of the most fascinating parts of a coronation is the collection of objects used during the ceremony. These items are not simply decorations, they are symbols of royal authority. Many of them are centuries old, Some have been used in coronations for hundreds of years. Among the most important are the crown, the scepter, the orb, the sword. Each object represents a different aspect of the monarch's role. The crown represents sovereignty. The scepter symbolizes authority and justice. The orb represents the monarch's responsibility to govern under divine guidance. And the sword represents protection of the nation. These objects are often stored in secure royal vaults. They are handled with extreme care. In some cases, only a few people are allowed to touch them. Before the coronation, the items are inspected carefully. Experts examine the jewels. Historians verify the object's condition. Security teams ensure that they are protected at all times. Because these items are not just valuable, they are irreplaceable pieces of history. The most secret moment of the coronation. Among all the traditions of a coronation, one moment remains particularly mysterious. It is known as the anointing. During this ritual, the monarch is anointed with sacred oil. The ritual is considered so sacred that it is often hidden from public view. In some coronations, screens or curtains are used to shield the moment from cameras. Only a few people are allowed to witness it. Why is this moment so secret? Because historically, the anointing represents the belief that the monarch is chosen to rule under divine guidance. The ritual dates back to ancient religious traditions. Kings and queens were symbolically blessed as part of their responsibility to govern. The oil used in the ritual is often specially prepared. It may include rare ingredients. It may be stored in historic containers used in previous coronations. For many historians, the anointing remains the most powerful part of the entire ceremony. It is the moment when the monarch's role shifts from heir to ruler. Private royal conversations. Another hidden aspect of coronations involves the private meetings that take place before the ceremony. In the days leading up to the event, the monarch often meets with close advisors, religious leaders, government officials, senior members of the royal household. These meetings are rarely discussed publicly, but they are extremely important, because a coronation marks the beginning of a new reign, and with a new reign come new responsibilities. These conversations may involve discussions about national priorities, diplomatic relationships, public expectations, and the future direction of the monarchy. While the ceremony itself focuses on tradition, these private meetings focus on the future. They are moments when history and modern leadership intersect. The role of the cathedral. Most coronations take place inside historic religious buildings. These cathedrals have witnessed centuries of royal ceremonies. Their architecture creates an atmosphere that reflects the significance of the moment. High ceilings, stained glass windows, ancient stone walls. Every detail contributes to the sense of history. When a coronation takes place inside such a cathedral, the ceremony becomes part of a long historical timeline. The same building may have hosted dozens of coronations before, each monarch adding another chapter to the story. For the monarch standing at the center of the ceremony, the weight of that history can be immense. They are not only becoming ruler of a nation, they are becoming part of a legacy that stretches across generations. The hidden role of royal staff. While the monarch and royal family stand at the center of the ceremony, hundreds of people work behind the scenes to make the event possible. Royal staff coordinate the logistics. Ceremonial officers ensure traditions are followed precisely. Security teams protect every location involved. Musicians rehearse the historic compositions that will echo through the cathedral. Tailors prepare the elaborate ceremonial garments worn by participants. Florists decorate the halls with symbolic arrangements. Every role matters, and many of these individuals spend months preparing for a ceremony that may last only a few hours. Without their work, the coronation would not be possible. Yet most of them remain completely invisible to the public. Security behind the ceremony. Coronations attract global attention. They also require enormous security operations. Police officers, intelligence agencies, military personnel, all coordinate to protect the event. Security planning often begins months before the ceremony. Routes are analyzed, crowd control strategies are developed, emergency response teams are prepared. Because during a coronation, not only the royal family is present, foreign leaders, diplomats, religious figures, and thousands of guests attend the ceremony. The safety of everyone involved becomes a top priority. While the public sees a beautiful procession, security teams are constantly monitoring every detail behind the scenes. The emotional weight of the crown. For the monarch, the coronation is not only a historic moment, it is also deeply personal. From childhood, many heirs to the throne understand that one day they may wear the crown. They are raised with the knowledge that their life will involve responsibility, duty, and constant public attention. When the coronation day finally arrives, it represents the culmination of that journey. The crown placed upon their head symbolizes the beginning of a new chapter, but it also represents enormous expectations. Expectations from their nation, expectations from their family, expectations from history itself. The moment may appear ceremonial to observers, but for the monarch, it is often emotional. A reminder that their life has now entered a new stage of responsibility. The global reaction. When a coronation takes place, it becomes a global event. Millions of people watch from around the world. Television broadcasts show the ceremony. News organizations analyze every detail. Historians discuss the traditions. Social media spreads images of the moment across continents within seconds. Coronations remind the world that monarchy is not simply a historical concept. In many nations, it remains a living institution. An institution that continues to evolve while maintaining ancient traditions. Closing reflection. Royal coronations may appear perfectly choreographed, but behind the ceremony is a world of preparation, symbolism, and secrecy. Ancient rituals, private meetings, sacred traditions. Hidden moments witnessed by only a few people. These elements remind us that monarchy is built not only on crowns and ceremonies, but on history, on continuity, and on traditions that have survived for centuries. Behind the palace walls, behind the cathedral doors, there exists a world that the public rarely sees, a world where history quietly unfolds, and where the next chapter of a monarchy begins. Ending. Royal coronations are among the most fascinating ceremonies in human history. They combine tradition, symbolism, and national identity in a single moment. What the public sees is magnificent, but what happens behind closed doors is even more intriguing. These hidden traditions remind us that royal life is far more complex than it appears. Behind every crown, there is a story. And behind every coronation, there are secrets that continue to shape royal history. Which coronation secret surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Royal Chronicle. More royal mysteries, royal history, and royal secrets are coming soon. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.